can't sleep in like that.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Quadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Greatmillstone who rule well, and to your brothers pushing this word and truth and sincerity. Shalom to you as well. Back out here. Can you hold tight this one? Yep. To push this word, man. All right. Bright and early. When the rest of the world is comatose, hungover, recuperating from a night of wickedness on Saturday, with Saturday being the day Saturn worship. All right, which is why Saturday is called Saturday. But you know what's important right now is sticking to the doctrine, man. All right, because you got a lot of camps that know they're Israelite camps that's not sticking to true doctrine. Like Apostle Tahar was saying, inside the scriptures is pretty much a book of doctrines because of the different topics and subjects that you can delve into within reading the scriptures itself, you know.
This is Titus chapter 1 verse 9. Holding fast the faithful word as he had been taught, that he may... This is Titus chapter 1 verse 8. But a lover of hospitality... This is Titus chapter 1 verse 6. If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accursed of riot or unruly, for a bishop must be blameless as a steward of the Heavenly Father, not self-willed, nor soon angry, not given to wine, nor striker, nor given to filthy lucre, but a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate, holding fast the faithful word that he had been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers.
Right, holding fast the faithful word in which he has been taught. So what you've been taught by your for us, the apostles of Greatmillstone, it's imperative that we hold fast to that and continue in that in sound doctrine. Okay, because sound doctrine allows you to the characteristics that are mentioned above that, giving the hospitality, not a striker, not giving a strong drink, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. When you adhere to sound doctrine, it keeps you it keeps all those in subjection, as Paul said. All right, I'm gonna try and find that scripture. You got something?
This is 1 Timothy. This is 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse starting at verse 3. If any man teach otherwise and consist not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing, but dotting about questions and strifes.
These guys that you know, they get a premonition, you know, a demon comes to them and they just venture off and start condemning, attempting to condemn the apostles and elders for certain other teachings and pointing out, oh, you were wrong here, you were wrong there. Well, that all stems from pride, man. Okay, if you want to read that latter part again.
Yep. It says, if any man teach otherwise and consist not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach.
Yeah, wholesome, consent to wholesome words. Wholesome words being make you whole. All right, wholesome words that are profitable. Okay. Go ahead.
And to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing.
Yeah, the doctrine which is according to godliness. Now, you have certain of IUIC teaching that it's okay to have sex with your woman on the Sabbath, man. Now that's not wholesome words, and that's not godliness. Okay, because the Heavenly Father clearly states, as the apostle broke down, that when you have sex with your woman, first and foremost, you're gonna get a seed. You're gonna spill seed. All right, whether you bust a nut or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got so-called pre-cum and so on and so forth. You're unclean. So, hey, when you're unclean, you're not able to go to the synagogue and bust open the scriptures and
Right.
preach and teach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth, along with a whole bunch of other things. You know?
If I may, when you're unclean, you can't present yourself before the Heavenly Father. You know, that's the whole deal. You know, being clean. If anybody was to go make the sacrifice or to go pray or whatever, they had to make sure that they was clean.
Yeah.
Didn't touch a woman for days. You know what I'm saying? And followed all that the law states for you to cleanse yourself.
It take a week.
And then you can
It's a
go
week from the
before the
cleanse,
altar, and then you can go and present anything before the Heavenly Father. So, being that you spilled seed, you'll be unclean for that entire day until evening, and then you'll have to wash yourself with water and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Remember when Israel wanted to talk to the Most High?
Mm-hmm.
What he told them, he said, I believe it was for 3 days, not to go into your woman.
Yep.
Like, everything had to be clean. So, like the brother said, when you present yourself before the Most High, you want to be clean. So, one of the things that it mentioned was abstaining, staying away from your woman. Okay, which you know, when you spill seed, you become unclean. You got to wash yourself.
Yep.
You know. Was that it on that or?
No, that wasn't it. It says, this is again back in 1 Timothy chapter 6. I'll restart at verse 4. He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railing, evils, submersings, perverse disputings of men.
He was surmising.
Surmising, Salakia. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself.
Yep. Can you grab 1 Corinthians 9 and 27?
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27. But I keep under my body and bring it to subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. Hey, and that's the point, man. You know, you got to preach that sound doctrine, and then you also have to follow after that sound doctrine, man. And you got to be holding on to that sound doctrine, you know, with all your strength, because it's gonna be a shame unto you that here it is, you're spreading the word, telling people what's right and what's wrong, and then you yourself get caught doing what's wrong, man, or get rejected by Yahweh Shai from doing what's wrong, being that castaway, man. So again, I'm gonna read it. It says, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. All right, this is another scripture. All right, this is 2 Timothy chapter 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 2. It says, preach the word, be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. And that's what it is that we come out here to do, all right? To preach the word unto the people, you know, no matter what the season, no matter what the weather, no matter what the conditions are, all right? And what we're doing is we're reproving, we're rebuking, and we're exhorting with long suffering of the doctrine, man, because the doctrine is what's important. The doctrine is what is able to separate us from the others, all right? The doctrine is what is able to put our faith in this category versus other people with their faith in whatever other category, man.
Proves us doctrine.
That's right, man. Like the brother just said, that the doctrine, it proves forth what kind of metal we are, man. All right, it shows that we are willing to actually stand up as gold rather than just being settled as being wood, you know, or settle as being some lesser metal, man. All right, and no matter what like I said, no matter what the conditions are, no matter what it is that we're up against, hey, we're not gonna falter and tell people just because the people want to hear it. Tell them some wayward doctrine like, oh, it's okay for you to be having sex with your woman on the Shabbat or whatever else, man. All right, we're gonna stick to the doctrine no matter if people want to hear it or not, man. Whether it cuts ourselves or not. All right. It says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And that's the situation that we find ourselves in, man, where you got all these other groups and people are flocking to these other groups because those other groups is teaching onto them according to their own lust. All right, rather than teaching onto them according to what the actual scriptures say, according to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. All right, it says, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and they shall be turned to fables. And you see that especially with these other groups, not Israelite groups, but these other groups that say that they're so-called religions or whatever. All right, that's what they're doing. They're harping on the fables, and then even if you bring any type of lie into the truth, well then what you're doing is you're preaching fables onto the people, man, and people are flocking onto that. Okay.
Yeah, if you have more.
It says, but watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. And that goes back to what Ashayar just said, man. This truth, us preaching, bringing forth this doctrine, all right, without wavering in it. What that's doing is that's proving us, man. All right, that's proving exactly what kind of metal we are, proving how pure our faith actually is. Man.
Yeah. Exodus 19 and start at 7.
This is Exodus chapter 19, verse 7. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord hath spoken will we do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, go into the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes.
Yeah, and let them sanctify the people, and let them wash their clothes, because this is when we're going to get into how being clean. All right. There's certain things you got to abstain from when you want to present yourself before the Lord and be clean. Okay?
And be ready the third day, for the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves that ye go not up into the mount, nor touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man. It shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives.
Yeah, that's the point. Come not at your wives. Be ready against the third day, and don't come near your wives, man. Here it is. You want to talk to the Most High. You know, y'all rather go circumnavigate the mediator, which was Moses at the time, to try to go shoot up straight to the Most High. All right. Well, this is what you got to do in order to present yourself to the Most High. You got to wash your clothes. You got to sanctify yourselves and be ready at the third day. And with all that, you can't even touch the mount, whether it's a beast or a human person. If that happens, you got to shoot them through with a dart. And also, the point we're harping upon is that you can't come towards your woman. You can't sleep with your woman. You can't spill seed. Okay, because what does that do? That makes you unclean, man. All right. Grab Psalm 119 and 9. All right. So above that, this being a wicked ass society we're in, you know, you can be clean as far as you haven't touched your wife or your woman. You know, it might have been a couple of days. You know, so you ain't came in contact with a dead body. You ain't spilled no seed or whatever. you know. So you can be clean according to the law, but then like the apostle was saying, you can go to a damn restaurant and sit down, and the seat you sat in, the person who just got up out of that seat, without you knowing, was some fat ass Edomite woman that was on a period, man. You know, some fat ass Edomite woman wearing a damn thong. You know what I'm saying? A fucking mini skirt and a thong, and got her ass, literally her bare ass, all on the damn seat. You know what I'm saying?
What if she just got off a period, you know, yesterday?
Yeah.
She's still unclean. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all these what if scenarios that people clearly don't live by the laws because John 3:16, right? So
You're on the grace.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's all this free reign for wickedness, and for you to think that by you doing everything 100%, well, what about the land itself? You go buy a piece of land. Did you let it rest for 7 years? Did you purge it and purify it? Did you? No, of course you didn't. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole other slew of problems.
Yeah.
You're gonna find dead animals. You know, where do you draw the line?
Hey, yeah, that's funny, man. I was watching some car videos. This dude, this Japhite, was he was fixing this lady's her fuel pump on an expedition. So he's going up underneath the car, got it jacked up, and he finds like a fucking newt, a big ass rat. It's just a skeleton with the skin, but it's all compressed, and you know, it's just chilling here. She's riding around fucking all of Las Vegas with a damn dead ass rat underneath the car, and that shit, you know, got spirits on her. Yeah, you know, but
Yeah, Ratatouille's been up there for how long?
yeah, that car unclean as shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a mobile demon right there, man. You know, so hey, on every like the brother, you know, the brother was saying, all aspects of this society, man, whether you know or not, man, it's all kind of uncleanness around you.
Yeah.
So besides you being physically clean, all right, because there's some people that don't believe in the scriptures. That say, for instance, you got an Israelite foreigner, all right, that he might be a so-called atheist that don't believe in the Most High, all right, or agnostic or whatever the case may be. But as the scriptures say, they're a law unto themselves, right? So here it is. He could be physically clean as far as he could be what they call it a Stoic. You had the Epicureans and the Stoics. The Epicureans, I believe, were pretty much just given to pleasures, and the Stoics were more disciplined. Mm-hmm. So you got them type of weirdo jakes out there that
eat good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Their bodies.
They a vegan,
Mm-hmm.
which when they on vegan mode, they just be fucking out there. Like a brother did a video saying that when you eat meat, it grounds you, like with trying to jump a battery, you know, or you know, you got the ground wire, and you know, which is a negative, then you got the positive. But the meat actually grounds you, because whenever you watch videos of these vegans, like you can see in their eyes that they're fucking on a whole nother, they're in another fucking dimension.
Yeah, it's like on that, they're like, I feel great.
Yeah. You know, just they're just out there, just floating, man. They fucking a Chinese lantern or some shit, you know. But so like what I was saying, the meat grounds you, and you can have a Jake that's on a, you know, so-called Stoic, you know, got discipline to themselves, that's physically clean, all right, pertaining to the actual law, but spiritually is dirty as fuck. Mm-hmm. All right, so trumping the physical, all right, or the carnal is a spiritual. So what spiritually makes us clean? Okay, because you know, there's all kinds of scenarios we got to deal with as men of the Lord, but above all else, how are we justified? You know what I'm saying?
This is Psalms chapter 119, verse 9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereunto according to thy word.
Right. So that's more important, man. Taking heed according to the Lord's word. All right. That's what makes you clean. What we started off with the doctrine. Titus 1:9. The sound doctrine. Sound doctrine and taking heed to the Lord's word, ultimately having faith, that's what makes you clean, man. In this wicked ass society. Can you grab that?
This is John chapter 15, starting at verse 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he is taken away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now are ye clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
Yep. We are clean through the words that Yahweh Shah has spoken unto us. You know?
I got another piece up for you too. This is Isaiah chapter 64, verse 6. But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness is as filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquity, like the wind, have taken us away.
Yeah, read it again.
We are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags.
And we are all as an unclean thing. You know, our righteousness is as a filthy rag, man. A menstrual rag that a woman, because it ain't like today, you can go, a woman can go buy some Kotex or tampons or whatever. Back then, like, women actually used fucking a rag. You know what I'm saying?
Better anyway.
You know? And then, so it's like a filthy rag that's disregarded after it served its purpose. Right? That's the state of us right now, man. All right, but what separates us from the rest of our nation is the fact that we have faith. And as we get closer and closer to salvation, Lord willing, that's the determining factor. That's what the angels is going to be looking at. Do they have faith or not? All right, those are all Israelites, but which ones got faith and which ones don't? All right, the ones with faith, hey, come with us. The ones without faith, you know, though hand be joined in hand, man. Okay.
It's Ephesians chapter 5, verse 26. That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
Yeah, with the washing of water by the word, man. All right, the scriptures, the Holy Spirit, which isn't some man walking around the planet. You'll see him at you know, he got
some shit.
Huh?
Find him at Red Robin or Subway.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say he got a website. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing tours all across the world and shit. You know, this just so happens to be the year he's gonna be in America, and he's gonna be at some park from between 7 and 9 o'clock or some shit. And you'll find him underneath a certain type of tree, sitting on a pillow in Indian position. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's not some physical person, man. All right, it's a spirit that unlocks the mysteries, all right, that sups with us when we read, man. All right, gives us that pure understanding, which the rest of the world can't receive, as the scripture says. All right, yes.
I can continue in John 15. This is John 15, verse 4. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me.
Yeah, so you can't bear fruit unless you abide in Yahweh Shah. Okay? And you got other Israelite camps that, you know, they got the numbers coming in, you know, the merch game is popping and all that, but all those souls that's coming into those Israelite groups, they're all getting corrupted, man. They're becoming twofold more the child of hell. All right, versus a precious few. Okay, can you grab that? I will sift the house of Israel. All right. So the Lord is dealing with a few. He's not dealing with an abundance. Okay. The Lord is dealing with what's precious. Okay, and there's a few that's going to be found to have faith, which makes them precious. All right. Hold off on that. Grab Revelation 3 and 7.
Revelation 3 and 7. Amos 99. Yeah, Amos 99. You said Revelation 3 and 7?
Yeah, you can read the Amos.
Okay. This is Amos chapter 9, verse 9. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
Right, so the nation of Israel being sifted in itself shows that the Lord has a precious few. Okay? But it said that the least grain should not fall. I don't want to misquote what it says. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Yeah, think about that, man. Shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. During salvation time, when the chariots come, when the Lord sifts, you know, like you got some flour and whatnot, you sifting, and what remains is what you know, in the case of salvation, what remains is what's getting taken up into the chariots, man. It's not like the scriptures say in the twinkling of an eye, man, our bodies will be changed. So when the tractor beams hit and the elect is delivered up, if you of the elect, it's not like the angels are gonna make a mistake and beam you up and then be like, oh no, we got the wrong one, and shoot you back down to Babylon in the fire. You just dive in, you know. It says, shall not the least grain fall into the earth, man.
Real quick, this is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth.
Right. So, the faithful, you know, we depend on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right? We don't stay upon like your parents, your siblings, your family members. They depend on, to a certain degree, they depend on America, on the government for everything, man. When a natural disaster happens or something catastrophic happens, all right, that affects everything around you. All right, when it was so-called the grid gets shut down. The first thing Israelites with no understanding is going to do is go straight to where FEMA at?
Yeah. Yeah.
They should have been here. Y'all should have been here.
Don't know shit else, but they know FEMA.
Yeah, hey, yeah, man. They fucking dumb as hell, right? But they know the FEMA, the acronym. They know what it stands for. They know what day it was established. What president gave that authorization? The fucking the damn the FEMA codes and all that, man. You know what I'm saying? They know all that. It's like, oh, they got a 24-hour turnaround, man. You know,
They're supposed to be tense up in the next 20 minutes.
They got 10 minutes. Yeah.
Hey, read Jeremiah 2 and 28. Since you mentioned it.
This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 28. It says, but where are thy goods that thou hast made thee?
God's.
I'm sorry. Slacking. That changes everything. But where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise if they can save thee in time of trouble.
Yeah.
For according to the number of the cities are thy gods, O Judah.
Yeah, Jake. All right, the southern kingdom. All right, according to thy cities are thy gods, O Judah. Look around America itself, right? You got certain cities that's known for its so-called Negro population. Atlanta,
DC,
Jacksonville,
DC,
Florida, DC, Chicago. All right, certain parts of Miami, LA, damn, shit, even up here in Seattle, man. Like, as far as this state itself, the only place you're gonna find niggas is in this region.
Greater Seattle area. Yeah.
You know, every major city has a section of where you can find Jakes, which is the ghetto. You know, the rundown parts. But now that Jake is getting money, you know, you can find them up in the suburbs. You know, so on and so forth. He's over there playing.
I thought Osh snuck over there.
Yeah. I was like,
supposed to be holding
yeah. Oh, I thought it sounded good at first, and then it was like, okay.
Yeah, trailed off.
Yeah. All right, so according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah, man. You look at you go online, you look at what Jake worships. They worship all kind of shit. All right, so-called gods newly created.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Jake is into Buddhists, Hinduism, Islam, plantation Christianity, damn African voodoo shit.
Satanism.
You know? Satanism. All right, the list goes on, man. So cry out to those gods when the shit hits the fan, man. When the shit hits the fan, and you know it's funny, like Jake ain't even going even fucking think about those so-called gods when that time happens, man. When calamity and catastrophe happens, Jake ain't gonna be thinking about these damn gods that they be burning incense to. They fucking go sit they go kneel on a pillow in front of Buddha or whatever. When shit happens, they gonna forget Buddha even existed, man.
Yeah.
You know, they gonna be like, oh God, yeah, they ain't gonna get no answer, man.
Yeah, they're gonna revert to their natural state and believing in false idols, man. You know, all that hype people put into these entertainers, and you know, they're not gonna save you. You know, your 401k, it's not gonna save you, right? But you put all this stock and belief and trust that it's gonna deliver you out of your time of trouble and hardship. So you've neglected the highest power. You've neglected the Creator for so long that he's giving you up and over to a reprobate mind. He's giving you up to your own lust, your own desires. He's let you go. You're nothing to him, and that goes back to the sifting.
The scriptures also say that they're gonna be throwing their gold in the streets on that day.
That's talking about
The rich man.
yeah, the people with the rich men. You know, because when all hell breaks loose, that's more like the martial law.
Yeah.
You know, then they're going to be like trying to pay people off, but money is of no value when the ATMs don't work, when you know, stores are out of goods. Money's not going to save you either. You know, so that's why those with faith are more valuable than those without.
Okay, still in Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 29. Wherefore will ye plead with me? Ye all have transgressed against me, saith the Lord. In vain have I smitten your children. They receive no correction. Your own sword have devoured your prophets like a destroying lion. O generation, see ye the word of the Lord. Have I been a wilderness unto Israel, a land of darkness? Wherefore saith my people, we are lords, we have come no more unto thee. Can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me days without number.
Yep. Hey man, it's been days without number. I had a thought yesterday, somewhat similar to the scripture. Like she sounded like a car alarm. But you know how I was thinking, like, you got these. Apostle Dahar was saying, you got these Jakes that are Americanized. Some of them is even Republicans. He was saying how they might have came back from Vietnam and whatnot, and now they're all just Americaned out. Old ass. And you gotta think, like, they was, when they were young, like these Jakes that's probably like 60s, 70s, 80s that fought in Vietnam and shit like that. When they were young, they didn't have the mind state they have currently towards America, Babylon the Great. They was on some like walking down the street and just ready to expect some kind of racial discrimination, because that's how it was back then. All right, but now through Esau's witchcraft, Jake got comfortable. Man, you went over there fighting that war. Meanwhile, you was experiencing all kind of racism when you was over there fighting in that war. All right, but now you're that old bottle, you're that old lion that crouched down, and just as long as you getting you got that Cadillac, that nice ass Cadillac you can drive around in. You got that Kango, you got that cane, you got them Black and Milds. All right, you got them Gators.
You got the Shaft on DVD set?
Yeah, Shaft on DVD set. Hey, you good to go, man. You got your old ass nigga woman. Yeah, you good to go. You got comfortable. All right, but read that last part.
It says, in vain, O generation, this is Jeremiah chapter.
Many days.
Yep. This is actually Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 32. Can a maid forget her own ornament, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me, days without number.
Yeah, days without number. So just imagine a Jake who back then had some kind of like notion of the white man is evil, right? Now they're all old ass bottle. Hey, they've gone many days without having that mind frame of, I can't trust this cracker.
Yeah.
Many days, man, years. All right, so from the time when we fell away from serving the Lord, the script grab what's that? 2 Thessalonians 4. There should be a falling away first. Okay. I think it's 2 Thessalonians. No, 1 Thessalonians 4 and something. 4 and go ahead.
2 and 1.
Huh?
2 and 1.
2 and 1.
Second Thessalonians.
This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. For yourselves, brethren.
What's in verse 3? Verse 3 is the point.
That was 1 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that day of Yahushua is at hand.
Yep.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Yeah, so the day of the Lord is not going to come except there come a falling away first, which that falling away did happen. Because you got to think about it. We used to have to sacrifice for remission of sins, right? Animal and whatnot. Now, when Yahushua came, he did away with that, but you still had Jews that didn't believe that he was the remission of sins. So here it is, you got a whole nation that is accustomed to sacrificing animals for the remission of sins, but you have a select few amongst that nation that understand that their Savior, who was looked at as nothing, is the actual remission for sins, so there's no need for them to do that.
Propitiation.
Well, Exactly. So the way to lump sum the whole nation into getting away from that physical sacrifice of an animal, we'll just have it to where there's a falling away, to where all of them forget who the hell they is, and that way in the latter days when they start waking up to having faith, them reading the scriptures, you realize, oh, okay, well, Yahweh Shai, well, understanding it's like, okay, well, the Lord, he's the remission of sins versus, well, hey, you probably do got some bug out jakes that will got a lamb and shit, little goat. You know how they got the bell around their neck? You know, they in the house and shit, they in front of whatever they in, cutting his neck and
Sharpen their shears.
Yeah, man. It's like, hey, little kids looking out them. Oh, that man, he got a lot of goats. You know, that's just funny, man.
This is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
Yep. So we fell away from our heritage, from our own identity. You know.
It says this is back in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Yep, the son of destruction, the man of sin being Esau, the Edomites. All right, that's why everything in the news dealing with Esau is bad, man. All right, when you think about it, there used to be times when you turn on the news, and there was some stories about Edomites, and it was heralding them as being good guys. Oh, this dude, he saved this or he saved that. Now it's like whenever they do decide to put something in the news, because there's certain stories that just go viral, and Esau would want to not put that out there to the public via their mainstream media, but you got alternate news sources where it's like everything dealing with Esau is something negative, man.
Mm-hmm.
Something diabolical. Okay, so he's being revealed, man. But we had to fall away first in order for him to be.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Yeah, Esau thinks like Xerxes, he thinks he's a God king. You know? And you will find out.
Basically saying he was Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, and you will find.
You gotta stand up on that man.
That's it.
Yeah.
What else you got?
We got the 2 Timothy. Now I gotta remember. What was that revelation? You still want that revelation?
Yeah.
What was it?
3 and 9?
3 and
3 and 11?
3 and 7?
3 and 7?
Yep.
This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 7. And to the angel of the church of Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth.
Right, so Yahweh Shai has the key of David, which he said that he shutteth and no man openeth, and openeth and no man shutteth, being that your pineal gland, your mind's eye, the Lord has the ability to shut it and to open it. And it's him alone that can do that, and no one else. All right, so us being blessed to have that door open and us to accept Yahweh Shai, that's us being made clean by the word, man. Because the true understanding of the word being given unto us, that's what actually makes us holy. That the Holy Spirit or whatnot that we've received, that makes us clean, man. Above actually like a physical clean on a carnal level, dealing with your body, you know, more so your spirit being clean because of the words of Yahweh Shai, all right, because him supping with you mentally, all right, and spiritually.
I know thy works. Behold,
That's it. Oh yeah.
I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name.
Yeah, we have not denied the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Kadash. All right. Grab Baruch 6. Start at 1, because we're gonna get into to idols. All right. So the Holy Spirit isn't some a man walking around the earth, or even some idol, some idol that you can mass produce in a factory, and like these Jesus paintings of Jesus, you know, with the crown of thorns and shit. He got a couple droplets of blood, and it's that side pose. He's all, yeah, he's all, you know, and all the Mexicans got him up in their house. You know what I'm saying? They got they candles. They got the fucking 360 degrees of idol candles. All these whitewashed images of cracker devils. You know what I'm saying? You know how like back in the days when you was young, we used to have a corner store. You go up in there, man. You got all kind of whatever kind of candle you wanted, man. They had, you know. Got his brainwashed. I used to really look at him like, damn, you know, like, oh shit, like scared to touch him and shit. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's like playing cards.
Yeah.
Oh, can I read this real quick? This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 19.
That's you too.
And it shall come to pass, when ye shall say, wherefore doeth the Lord our power all these things unto us? Then shalt thou answer them, like as ye have forsaken me, and served strange gods in your land, so shall ye serve strangers in the land that is not yours.
Yeah, and we're doing that. We're serving strangers in a land that's not ours, because this land got stripped from us, from Gad and Reuben. Man, it's bug outs early in the morning around here, man. That's right.
Yeah, for real.
That's like
Is that the
breakfast.
lady on the board right there?
Still barking at people. Yelling
She found someone else with barks too.
How they barking at each other?
Yeah.
They got a special dog language, man.
For real.
Esau speaks to dogs, the dog whisperer and this shit.
Spraying over there.
This is
The nettles, rain amongst the nettles.
that's what you get when you have drugs for breakfast.
All they
kids.
need is hay.
This is Baruch chapter 6, starting at verse 1. Because of the sins which ye have committed before the Heavenly Father, ye shall be led away captives into Babylon by Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Babylonians.
Yeah, look at the sins that Jake is committing now, man. You got Jake committing adultery at record. It's like drinking water to a nigga. Sleeping with an Israelite man sleeping with another man's wife is like drinking water. All right, you got Jake at an all-time. This last little young generation of Jakes is just all fagged out, man. They all got blonde hair. All right, green, blue, gray contacts. You know, man purses, skinny jeans, skinny capris. Just you name it, these niggas is doing it, man. All right, and the women ain't no better. The women of our nation ain't no better, man. All right, witchcraft and voodoo, you know. It's just our nation is completely out of order, man. Okay, so the reason why we're in captivity under the so-called white man, under Esau, is because of the shit that our people is doing now, which is what they was doing back then, in the past. All right, and these niggas still haven't learned their lesson. Okay, these niggas do all this wickedness and be flexing on Instagram and fucking YouTube and all this shit, but then as soon as the damn spiritually he's the nigga on 300 that couldn't hold his shield and shit. That's him.
He got all the equipment though.
Yeah.
He's got his shield of faith. He's got his helmet of salvation. He got it all, man.
He's fresh from the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
Hey, 154th Regiment.
What did they say? Yeah, Kazaa. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, he did stop. He did the salute.
Yeah,
Hey, shit.
He said he was a warrior, 55th Regiment.
It's out to the warrior. It says, this is verse 3.
It's the new Seattle.
It says, so when ye become unto Babylon, ye shall remain there many years, and for a long season, namely 7 generations. And after that, I will bring you away peaceably from thence. Now shall ye see in Babylon gods of silver and of gold and of wood borne upon shoulders, which cause the nations to fear.
Yeah, man, because back in the days, you know, all these idols being resurrected and whatnot, or just paraded through the city. You know, people got them on what they call them, carrying something. It's like a 4-man.
You talking about the hobo sack?
No. It's like if you had one of these statues,
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a mobile
gurney
throne.
or whatever.
Yeah, mobile throne. I don't know.
Yeah, it said you see God's upon man's shoulders. Like if you want to pan these 2 statues, them ain't nothing but so-called gods, man. Those ain't nothing but idols, right? Idol worship, you know. And that's everywhere you go throughout America, you're gonna see that. All right, and you actually got Jake that like that one that soldier over there. They got a statue of a soldier over there on a knee with a rifle and shit.
Yeah.
You got Jake, old ass, like we were saying earlier, old ass bottles that fought in Vietnam that would actually, like, they feel some kind of connection to that shit, like, cause that shit's real. Like in the military, this fucking game, man. In the military,
Just get a shot to River Divide when I look it up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It won't be a goofy one, it'll be a good looking one that I really want.
All right, man.
never a trust stock in it.
Yeah, hey, but like, how many times, you know? It's like this has gotta happen.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just, you know.
It's gotta happen. I mean,
I
it'd
ain't
be weird.
out or nothing. I'm just,
Right.
I'm just stating the fact that.
Right. It'd be weird though, because I was thinking about this earlier. Like, you know, when you're young in the truth, you know, we'd be downtown Seattle, people would bring us shit, and you kind of get that mentality, like, yeah, give me shit. People owe me shit. You know, that kiss my boots mentality, like lick the dust up out. You know, that the world owes me something mentality. Like, that's not the right mentality, because if that vibration were to continue, then what happens is you start getting thousands of views, thousands of followers. Your camp grows so big, and when what that pushes you into is into the scriptures that say, if the world loves you, so then people would be bringing, you know, stuff about, like, and that's what you see with a lot of these other groups. The world loves them. So I was like, man, it's crazy. We didn't get pushed in that direction. We got removed from it. You know, so that's just to go on to say, like, the things that are written of that are supposed to happen to us, those are things that are like, all right, yeah, cool, man, all right, yeah, people, we're fulfilling the right, because it's going to be fulfilled either way, left hand, right hand. So when it's on the right hand, even though it's like it rubs you the wrong way sometimes, that's where it's like, okay, shit, you know. But it's all growth, because we all kind of got our little things that we got to get over. Like some brothers that you would look at now, they, you know, they're, you know, been in the truth 10 plus years, but they had a problem with, like, the chariot breakdown, you know, or how many Northern Kingdom brothers were having to go over that hurdle that Yahweh shot with a so-called Negro, you know, and not trying to say, well, there's some Mexicans with curly hair, yeah, because they were mingled in with the Negroes, like. You know what I'm saying? They have all these hurdles that brothers, like, personally have to get over. They still go to camp and they fight through it, but you would never know, because it's like they would even defend the gospel. In the back of their mind, they still had some reservation or some doubt. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just part of the things that we go through, man. That's just
Exactly.
the perfecting of the saints.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these things that take place.
Now I just know that with the apostles and elders, they don't. You know, if somebody's trying to take pictures, they be like, "Oh, it's cool to take a picture of the sign," but as far as somebody taking a picture, they don't. You know, they don't allow that.
Fine.
Well, I mean, that's just an example that that they display since we came in. So you know, it's like, why?
I mean, but that's hit and miss because even like, see, now we're having a conversation. But now apostles, because sometimes apostles are hard. He would pose with some people. He'd be like, yeah, take a picture of it. You know, you know. So it's hit and miss. You know, but the scripture says precedes all of that, and it says that we are going to be a spectacle unto people. So,
Foolishness of preaching.
Right, the foolishness of preaching, like that precedes all of the, you know, what we would do or not do. You know, what a personal opinion is versus what the scriptures actually say. You know, and that's just us being human, though. That's just us being able to see that even our elders and apostles they're human too. You know, they have personal preferences too. Like the scripture says, not all men have pleasure in all things. You know, but we're all still men of like passions. I mean, you're passionate about it's like some brothers are into sports, some brothers aren't into sports, some brothers are into other forms of entertainment, whereas another brother is not. And that's just fulfillment of the scriptures, the diversity of spirits, the diversity of gifts. But at the end of the day, the fulfillment of these things is the necessity of all. You know, the fulfillment. And then again, that just brings up balance. You know, because imagine if everyone in the camp were exactly the same way, and accepting on the same things, and you know, and unaccepting on the same exact things.
We'll all be Agent Smiths.
Yeah, there's no diversity of gifts. So now we wouldn't be fulfilling the diversity of gifts. So you have all these little facets that are taking place at the same exact time. You know, hundreds of thousands of things taking place, but it's within balance.
And that shows the glory of the Lord too, because you have all these different body parts, but then yet we all come together and we all talk about the same thing week in and week out without rehearsing it, you know? But we're all different. Right. Hey, that's dope. Dope. It's the spirit.
What is this? So like, I think it's Philippians. Philippians 2:2.
I got you.
Okay, go ahead.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 2. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind.
Right. So that, like the brothers saying, the like-mindedness, the same accord, you know, because what happens with the IUIC, they have a different accord and a different mind of the scriptures. They say that, you know, as long as you can, he said, you know, I had Ben and Jerry's and sex on the Sabbath. But he omitted the actual meaning of those words, man. You know, so here it is. Like we can actually have a like-minded mentality and spirit, whereas you see these other groups, they don't got it. And Nate has yet, as far as I know, has yet to correct that guy. And if he doesn't correct him, then that means that he's right along with it. You see, and so you know. For another example, I remember Apostle Reimelot had said, because that guy Alizé was going to go visit him. He's like, you know, if he comes by the camp, I'm leaving. Yeah. And Apostle Tahar caught wind of it. He's like, well, shit. If that's the case, like Alizé, you're not welcome, because he's like, I'm not going to sow discord. Like he's like, Apostle Reimelot means a lot more to me than you than Alizé does to, you know. So there's that again, that one accord. Now that's good examples, great examples that we have, and then when you look at like Chief Ephraim and Zabak, right? Like Zabak's standing right there, and Chief Ephraim's talking about some situation because a brother and one of the brothers in Chicago had rebuked him and he's just giving him some correction, and then here it is, Chief Ephraim's pointing out all these scriptures. Oh, you got a problem with the brother? You go to him one-on-one, this and that. It's like, but you're not even doing it. You're talking to a bunch of strangers on the street that have no idea what the hell you're talking about. They don't know what you're talking about. So you're just preaching into the wind, like, and Zabak standing there just kind of like in the background, nodding his head, reading, doing whatever the fuck he's doing. You know? So there's a sifting, like the brother Kasab brought out Namos, that sifting. But it said, the least grain shall not fall upon the earth. You see? So here it is, we're considered weak amongst the people, amongst the nations. But those that have been placed, like the scripture says, in the hands of Yahweh Shai that were given to him, he's not going to lose not one. You see? And that's all because of faith. You know? Go ahead.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 4. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same power which worketh all in all. By the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given the spirit of word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit.
So like, read back like three of those.
It says, for to one is given the Spirit, for to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, and to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit.
Right. So here it is. One of the topics, the main topics we're talking about is faith. But some brother, like what is that in one of the main gospels they call it, where a man had said to Yahweh Shai, he said, "Lord, I believe, but help thou my unbelief." So we all have faith, but some of us have faith to a higher degree than others. Some of us have wisdom and knowledge to a higher degree than others, and it's dangerous being alone and by yourself, because now you think you have to have all of it, and you won't rely on others. And that's what you see with these guys that, you know, they get kicked out, removed, or they got to do their own thing. There is absolutely nothing you can tell them. And there's a whole band of them that'll come together and they'll be like, yeah, Kana, Shalom, brother, this and that. But they have a different doctrine. So they're not unified in doctrine and belief, and they can't acknowledge where one excels over the other. The scriptures tell you also to prefer one another. You see? Was there more, David?
Yes. It says, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another interpretation of tongues. But all these things worketh that one and self same Spirit, dividing to every man several as he will.
Severally, to sever. So dividing to every man severally, as he will, as the Spirit will and would allow. See, so there's different gifts, and the Most High gives those gifts out in the portion that he wants, that fits him best. You see, so it's not a big deal, because some, you know, especially for like newer brothers that come into this thing, as soon as they have a problem with another brother, they might think, oh, this man's wicked or that man's wicked. No, that's not the case, man. You're both just young, and you might have some gift that's totally opposite. And because of those opposites, you might think that puts you against each other. When no, that's really meant to balance each other out. It's like a good cop, bad cop technique. See, the world is operating off of things that have already been created within it. This world, as you know, everything you know about this world, I don't care if it's a Fortune 500 company, some new piece of technology that came out last week, it's all operating off of the same principles that have been created from the beginning, that have been passed on through us that believe. It's just the left hand is picking up on it for their own benefit, and not for the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, but for the glory of themselves.
For as the body is one and have many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Yahweh Shai. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit.
Yep. And see, how can all this be done? Because they're all Israelites. That's the truth. Okay? These are all Israelites. The Gentiles, the scattered abroad, the Jew, the Gentile, the Greek. That's because Israel was told that they were going to be scattered abroad into all nations, speaking all different tongues. Why do you think in the list of gifts it mentioned those that could speak and those that could understand different languages, different tongues? See, you get really messed up when you start reading that NIV. It totally disrupts the whole orientation and presentation and delivery that is trying to be held intact by this translation in the King James Bible. Okay? Because they translated directly from the manuscripts, and with the language at the time, did their best to keep that power intact.
For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body?
Right, that's asking a question, and the answer is no, it is still of the body. Just because it's the foot and it's not some other part that it would prefer itself to be, does that mean it's not part of? No. Okay, when the body rejects itself, that's when you have an autoimmune deficiency disorder. Or syndrome, I don't know, the situation, whatever you want to call it as.
Some disease.
Yeah, AIDS.
You have a disease.
Okay? And you can't be at rest with internal fighting. You know? You can't be at rest. So, you know, you get new brothers that come in, they might find a new area, create a new camp, and right off bat, they're trying to mimic, automatically they want to mimic the elders and the apostles, which is good. But you have to recognize the works of the elders and apostles. So when they set up certain men in an area or a state or a region, and they say, look, you got to fall under them, report it unto them. They don't want to deal directly with you. They don't know you. They don't have no time with you. They don't know your true sincerity, your level of faith, or none of that. So that goes back to the pretty good. All right. That goes back to the book of Acts, where in the book of Acts, the disciples and the apostles, they separated out the different tasks for everybody, right? Just like, and where did they get that example from? From the Old Testament, where it said, hey, look, get you a man to be captains over the thousands, hundreds, 50s, and tens. That way, you have a system that's delegated, okay? You had a system that was being delegated. Woo, boy. And the cold fact and truth about one of the scriptures that says that several women shall take hold of one man, you don't get a say-so in that, man. You know, so if that lady's an Israelite and she believes and she looks crazy, you got to deal with that. Like, who are you to reply against the Most High? You know? Like, what are you going to do? Now, someone could say, well, the Most High ain't going to give you that. Yeah, but the scriptures also tell you to choose not a woman for beauty. She might make a cold shepherd's pie.
Yeah, she might know those useful things that you're going to need in that time.
Yeah, she might be the most, what in this world they call the bottom bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, she's got all the, she's got cousins, she's got friends that look fine as hell. And you wouldn't be even close to them without that one.
Yeah.
You see? And she's pulling in these other ones, not just because they look, but oh, this girl, she knows how to do this, she knows how to do that. So you got this team, this team that can rival the Detroit Pistons.
Right.
You know, you're like, oh shit, okay, let's go. You know. Right. And hey, look, man, the Most High, He can do all kinds of things, man. But to only look on the outer appearance of things is against exactly what we're talking about right now. It's not spiritual. To look on the scriptures tell you the Most High look on the inward parts of men.
First Samuel
16.
Yeah, not every man of the Lord. You think they were just a good-looking guy? See, a lot of people, you watch movies so much, cartoons, video games, everything, every character that's put in front of you is this like perfect creature
Yeah.
and a standard idea of what beauty and perfection is, man. That's why I like actors that look weird, you know? Because it's like, yeah, the guy from I think it was from a movie called Species. He's got the big crooked nose.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson, he's got a crooked nose. You know, you know,
That old weird dude.
Chris Tinkle, the comedian, looks like a caveman, like a Neanderthal.
What's that weird dude that everybody, the Adam Sandler weird dude?
Ben Stiller?
Nah,
I don't like Ben Stiller, but he looks weird.
not Ben, the old dude.
Oh, the boy from Waterboy.
He was on, he was on Click. He was on all. He's in all the Adam Sandler joints.
You can do it.
That weird dude.
Yeah, what's his name? He's a character.
Snyder?
Yeah,
Snyder.
Rob
Rob Snyder?
Yeah, there you go.
But you know, shit, man. You got a lot of other Jake actors too that are a little. They're underplayed, you know, and they don't have those negroic Caucasian features like Denzel. If you spray painted his face, he'd kind of look like a Caucasian to a degree. But you have other actors like Don Cheadle, you know.
Looks like a Hamite almost.
You got other actors like Don Cheadle, and yeah, he don't get a lot of roles, but he kind of looks like a Hamite. You see. So the Most High, he doesn't deal with the outer appearance. And we got to give a couple of those precepts too.
Buddy, but yeah. Let me grab this real quick. This is 1 Samuel. Real quick.
16.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse.
I believe it's in Daniel, Daniel, KJV. Look at inward reports.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as men seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart.
See, but the Most High, he looketh upon the heart, the mind, the spirit. You see? So, in pursuing to be in the pursuit of trying to become like the Heavenly Father, be ye as your Father which is in heaven is perfect, be ye perfect, you're supposed to follow that same way. So in the Apocrypha, it tells you, it gives you some of those jewels that you're not supposed to desire a woman that's a singer, you're not supposed to desire a woman just for her beauty. It tells you in Genesis that she is supposed to be a helpmate. I believe that's in Genesis.
Yeah.
Okay, so the woman was created to be a helpmate. So that help is in the Apocrypha, it also tells you someone that is like you, like-minded. Meaning you both got the same ethic, strong work ethic, a good moral balance. You get with some girl, you go to the club, that's the last place you should be looking for a woman, man. Because all you're gonna find in there is a quick moment of fun.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna last, man. And that's a vanity. That's pursuing your own vanities, your own lusts. You see? So like when you're young in this truth, it is harder. It's harder because you have to have more discipline, which shouldn't be difficult. But if you are not the type that's able to deny yourself privileges and to deny yourself pleasures, then you're going to start to go and find out how to justify having those pleasures. Like these guys in IUIC talking about you can have sex on the Sabbath. They say it's no different than eating ice cream. Yeah, because in Isaiah it tells you if you were to turn your foot away from the Sabbath and not, you know, have pleasure, your own pleasure, you know, if you call the Sabbath a delight, which the Sabbath is a day of rest, which also on the Sabbath, if we're building up a nation of kings and priests, on the Sabbath is a day of sacrifice. A lot of these guys that talk about the law, the law, the law, well, on their Sabbath, are they holding the Sabbath service, the sacrifice? Are they sacrificing a lamb every week? Who can afford that?
Yeah,
It'd be nice, man, to every once a week have a lamb dinner. Fit that into your meal plan. All right, this day, yeah, lamb dinner, got the egg on, you know. Every once a week, you know, you're doing it. You got an apartment, you're blowing the shofar in the apartment. Sundown, everyone's trying to go to sleep. You know, the nights are later in the summer, so you're at 9:30, damn near 10 o'clock, blowing the shofar. How long is that gonna last, man? Oh, ye of little faith.
This is resorting back to a woman. This is Proverbs chapter 6, verse 25. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids.
See? Because what do? They put those angel wings on with the mascara to make it look like they're like a little Asiatic or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they put the eyelashes on with the big ass butterflies.
Yes, eyelashes.
Like reverse Venus flytraps and shit.
That shit's fucking nasty.
I hate that shit.
I hate
but
that
other
shit.
women, they see women and like, oh, her eyelashes are so beautiful. I was like, how? She looks like a potato head, like Miss Potato Head and shit, man.
Yeah.
But see, other women are attracted to other women in that degree, so they think that's what's gonna attract the guy. No. It's just that you've hid your blemishes. I don't care about you contouring your face, this and that. You just hit all the pock marks, you know? 1 pock, 2 pock.
Sirach chapter 25, verse 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure.
Right, and desire her not for pleasure. That's like the last thing you're supposed to be looking for. A woman, first and foremost, being with them is supposed to be pleasurable anyway. So why are you pursuing that thing that they're already supposed to be? It's like a pair of shoes. Oh man, I need a comfortable pair of shoes. Well, if you buy them all brand new, they're gonna be comfortable. You just get the right size, man. So it's like a no-brainer. It's like, oh, I'm so hungry, I need to go eat some food. You're walking through the food court, it's like, well, there's a bunch of fucking food here. Ah, they don't got nothing I like. Oh, I'm so hungry. Like, dude, what are you talking about? They got everything in the food court. They got your veggies, your meats, your breads, your pastas, your juices. They got everything. What do you mean they don't got what you want?
If I can say, the shoes, some of the shoes that's the most beneficial, actual for protection, at first they will be uncomfortable until you know your foot settles them. Yeah, until you break them in, and then they'll be comfortable.
It's just like a woman. The first time for her is uncomfortable, and after a while, it gets comfortable for her. You got something to say?
This is Job 10 and 4. It says, "Hast thou eyes of flesh, or seest thou as a man seeth?" Going into the Most High, looking on the inward parts, and not looking on, not judging according to the outward flesh.
Yeah, that's something that we gotta, that we rehearse not doing. If someone is young in the faith, just coming in, we might have a problem, with that. And even some guys that are in the truth, been in the truth a couple of years, and they could still be struggling with it, man. You see, I mean, that's the problem. Is that with all this technology, you can easily desensitize yourself. You go on any dating website where you can just swipe through people. That's worse than speed dating, man.
Yeah.
You're not getting to know nobody. You're not getting to see their character and them in action. It's all based off of one picture. The lighting, what she's wearing, how her hair is. It's just like, damn, for real.
What angle she was at and what kind of duck face she was making.
Yeah, she got the whole fat to the side this way, holding it this way like this, standing sideways and shit.
Neck all turned up, all crazy.
Yeah.
Trying to find the right angle.
Arm, she tucked it into her armpit.
She got on that corset, or what is that? Is that what it's called? Corset.
Yeah,
push
girdle
up.
and a corset.
Yeah.
And push up. You take it all off, and it's like someone opened to pop the can of dough.
Yeah. Pillsbury.
It's like the inflatable bed that pops out. Everything just
And you pull that cord, that rip cord.
Yep.
So, this is Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord said, and the Lord power said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him.
Helpmeet for him, see? So that's what the woman is designed for. Her natural purpose. Okay, so knowing how to pick them is for procreation. Because once you had kids, those are your little helping hands. You create your own workforce. You know, a big company in America is when you have 500 plus employees. That's when you have a big company. That's when you get into that other tax bracket. But when you have less than 500, you're in a different tax bracket. See, so when you have X amount of kids, having one kid period puts you in another type of way that you file taxes. Your tax bracket is different. The more kids you have, it changes. You get more money because it's going to cost more to take care of these people if you're spending the money on them. A lot of people, I bet you 90% of the people that got their income tax don't have shit from it. Not even $1 of it. Nothing saved. You know why? Because they celebrated 4th of July, Valentine's Day,
Easter.
They got their Easters. They got the new car, all the sales, the Black Fridays that are going to be coming up. Any bonus they get, they're saving to throw it right back into the system, man.
They was waiting for that income tax just for them to be able to pay their bills, you know, or to catch up on something that was overdue or past due.
Yep. So Jake just lacks discipline. Going back to another point in the conversation, which was discipline. A lot of young guys when they come in, they lack discipline. And to grow that discipline is very difficult when you've been without it for so long. That's one of those things that'll help you hone in on your faith is your discipline. How well are you disciplining yourself? Are you disciplined of yourself? Because having that lone wolf mentality, that's exactly what it gives you is a lone wolf mentality. And you can't be a part of a body as a lone wolf. The lone wolf is its own body. But you have all these guys out there that they go about their own way, in their own spirit of things, disregarding the spirit of the body. And they think that you can't be a part of the body if you're doing your own thing constantly, man.
This is Haggai chapter 1 verse chapter 1 verse 6. Ye have sown much and brought in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe ye, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages, earneth wages to put it in a bag with holes.
Right. So all the money you make, you come across, it's like putting it in a bag full of holes. Because you can make, right? Say you make $20 an hour. Okay, you work 40 hours a week. How much is that? 800 bucks? No. 20 times 40? Yeah, 800. Right? So you make that in a week, right? Now you multiply 8 times 4. 3,200 a month. You're like, that's what I should be taking. But it's not your take home. Right. You got to subtract somewhere between 10 and 15% of that. So automatically subtract, I don't know, say 500 bucks. Then you have your insurance, your health insurance, right? That's part of the taxes. Or you have your taxes, which include your Social Security, and the state taxes, federal taxes, whatever, depending on how your state is set up. But then you have your health insurance benefits that are going to come out of your check too automatically. See, so you already, your bag is filled with holes. Yeah. Then that's not even talking about if you have a mortgage or rent, if you have a car note, the insurance for your home, your apartment, your vehicle. Okay, plus any other bills that you got, your water, your power, your sewage. Then you got your grocery, your gas, all the problems that are going to come up with the maintenance of your car or your home. You see how at the end of the day you're left with like maybe you got $40 a week. Doesn't matter how much money you make. Because these people that are doctors and lawyers, they do the same shit. It's just their percentages are bigger. They got a Mercedes. They got a $1 million home. So they're dumbass making all this money where they could have, you know, been driving a little fucking $1,000 Camry, you know, living in an okay neighborhood for $200,000 in a house rather than $1 million mansion. They could have got that, lived in it for a couple of years. You know, Jake, they don't get those examples. So the only place where you can store your treasures is up in heaven, man. Not earthly treasures, because those earthly treasures are guaranteed to be depleted. Okay, that's why Yahweh Shai said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and to the Most High what is his. Store them up in heaven where nothing can corrupt them, where no man can break in and steal them. Because here, they're going to get stolen. You go to the ATM, you can get robbed. You're not paying attention, you rear end somebody, there goes your money, your insurance rates go up, all that shit.
This is Matthew 6 and 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
You see, because they got that one song, got money on my mind. It was around the world, something like that. Money on my mind, some shit. Some old rap song.
Yeah. Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
There you go, that's it.
Tin and juice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that type of mentality, you got your mind on your money, and your money is on your mind. It's like, so how do I get more of it? You're gonna go rob, steal, kill, pollute your own community just to get more money. But you're gonna go to bed, go to bed thinking, how do I get more money? How do I get more money? So then, now you're not even living life, because your whole life is encompassed around getting money.
Yeah.
So you could go out to some event or some venue, you're not even enjoying yourself because your mind's on your money. People know you're making money. So you're constantly in another type of mindset and mode. You're constantly on the defensive and shit, you know. That's not a way to live, man. But when your mind is on the spiritual riches of things, then you can begin to discipline yourself. Then you start looking into self-examine a lot better. The way you self-examine yourself is at a higher degree now, because you're like, it's got to take a lot more to get that reward, because it's untangible, and it's going to demand more of your own faith, because at the end of the day, hey, we could be wrong, right? Because hey, people say, hey, well, who's to say my faith is, hey, your faith, hey, well, at the end, that's what it is. It's a game of roulette. I'm putting all my chips on this right here. You put your chips wherever. Some people spread their chips around. Hey, but we put all our chips on one bet, because we know our level of faith is like, we know that's the truth. And for that, we're ridiculed. For that belief and that level of commitment, we're ridiculed. Any other a mindset in this world would tell you that that's the wrong mindset to use to go gamble to make money. But see, our money is on faith. Our money isn't on tangible. It's intangible.
This is Joshua chapter 24, verse 14. It says, now therefore, fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt.
Put away the gods that your father served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt. So what is that telling you? That Jake and the nations, hey, they were still they were worshiping the same dumbass gods in the flood, and everyone was destroyed. But then after the flood, they were still worshiping those same gods that they had no idea about.
Yep.
The Most High obviously gave them up to believe in those shits. He put it in men's minds, allowed them, because they weren't a part of it. The other nations, first and foremost, those are their gods. That's what they're gonna be into.
Right.
And then Jake, you Israelites, some of you aren't. You didn't believe. You think Noah was the only one of his family line of people? No, from him down was his line. He wasn't. If he had any siblings, cousins, relatives, they obviously didn't believe what he believed.
Right.
Why would they have? They were able to live long lives, hundreds of years. They were able to do things and never experience no harm. So it's like, what's this guy talking about disaster and shit, bro? Like, get the fuck out of here. It's, if they had years back then, it's like, it's 10,000 BC. What are you talking about? What the hell? Like, I'm just throwing a number out there. Don't.
You guys talking about battle rappers.
Yeah, what the hell's up? Yeah, what is he talking about?
Disaster. Why are you talking about battle rappers?
Yeah, he's right. What is he talking about?
That
All
one
these
bought my head
disasters.
the first time. Continuing on, it says, "And serve ye the Lord." And if
So like it, but that's also another precept. There's no new thing under the sun. Everything has already been before. So if you see the example laid out before the flood, after the flood, and into this present time, I mean, shit. They say the definition for insanity is doing the same thing.
Expecting a different end.
So if I know of ancestors that did this shit here and fucked up and lost, and I know of ancestors that did shit here and fucked up and lost, and then I got ancestors that did shit here and fucked up and lost, well, I'm gonna stick to tradition, those are my roots. I'm gonna bang these drums, I'm gonna do these things.
I'm gonna fuck up and lose too.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck up and lose too.
That's our tradition.
Yeah, because that's our tradition. The Latin community, the island, the Jamaican, the Haitian, okay, the Levitical, everyone being on the islands and stuff. What we all do, we're all banging drums, wearing fringes, sacrificing, started going off, body scarring, modifications, dumb shit. So, you wake up in this generation, you're like, well, that's what the ancestors were doing. Yeah, but they fucking lost. They fucking lost. Like, here it is, the Most High gave us everything we wanted. He gave us a spiritual music. He gave us a spiritual water. Everything, he gives us spiritual food. Everything we need is spiritual now. He said, look, fuck all the material things, man. I took them away in the time of the flood. You couldn't depend on them in the time of Egypt to save you. Why are you doing it fucking now, man? What's wrong with you? You're repeating. No matter how the Most High is showing us that the old ways don't work. Are we in tune? No, because we're not disciplining ourselves to sit down, shut up, and listen. Discipline. It all begins with discipline, man.
This is Hebrews 4:1. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it.
Damn.
For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place on the seventh day on this wise, and the Most High did rest the seventh day from all his works. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest. Seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. The flood, not the flood, but Israel, the land of Israel, when we came into it.
And see, and they saw the miracles and things happen there. Noah lived through the flood, and his family line, his downline, they made it. And from that, the people knowing and seeing that they were growing in bigger numbers, that they had all come from these lineages of Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and seeing Noah as a great grandfather to them all, still didn't obey. He said, Grandpa, how come we're the only people on the planet? Well, because no one listened. And I was found faithful. So when you look up the word faith, in the Old Testament, it only comes up 58 times. But when you look it up in the New Testament, 280 times. The Apocrypha, 43. So you see that influx. So in these last days, Yahweh Shai, did he not say, when I come, when I return, shall I find faith? The just shall live by faith. So here it is, we got these great examples, man. You just got to discipline yourselves. And it's hard in an environment, in a society, where you have, drugs and trap music and mumble rap. And you got all these things that distort you away from the truth. But just because it's hard, that doesn't mean it's not possible. It's not possible. It is possible. It's not impossible, man.
The game is beautiful.
The game is beatable, yeah.
A little more.
Okay.
Verse 7. Again, he limiteth a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long a time, as it is said, today if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts.
If you will hear his voice, if you can understand what's being said, the prophecy of Isaiah, okay, reverting back to that, don't harden your mind. So if you have ears to hear, understand. If you have eyes to see, perceive. If you have a heart of understanding, then understand, accept it. Stifle your own beliefs and your own things about you. Discipline yourself. Sit yourself down. Bind up those demons. Throw them the hell out and keep the house clean.
Verse 8, for if Yahweh Shai had given them rest, they would have not afterward have spoken of another day. Therefore remaineth therefore a rest to the people of the Most High. For he that
there remaineth a rest for the people
of the Most High.
That's Israel, man. Who are the people of the Heavenly Father? Israel. Have they gotten any of the promises where they were going to be at rest and that they would rule over the other nations? Has that happened yet? No. You got the so-called Jews talking about they need all 70 nations to come together to help build the temple. They said the third temple has got to be built with all 70 nations involved. Does that line up anywhere in the scriptures or in history? Hell no. The Israelites always said, we build our own things, because when you build something like that, it's got to be built clean.
Yeah.
You think these heathens are coming in off of years of eating pork and sleeping with each other on their menstruals and all kinds of other weird shit, but you're gonna have them up there working like a transvestite on a construction crew. You think the Lord? You think the Most High wants to see that shit?
No.
Some man bending over with a pink thong on? Hell no, man.
You telling me that Israel's so set on bombing Gaza and bombing Iran and Iraq and so on and so forth, but they want them to come and help build their temple?
Hey, history shows you that every time that Israel went to build the temple, all the rest of the nations was there to deter them or stop them from building their temple.
So then this is to let you know that if everyone were to come together to build this temple, those are the wrong people.
Yeah.
Because the scriptures tell you they wanted to help, and Israel said, no, we build this. This doesn't pertain to you. See, then John 3:16 would have power. But it doesn't, because John 3:16 is a lie the way that these people tell it, man. It doesn't mean what they think it means. You got to go read Joel, the 2nd chapter. You got to go read Isaiah, the 45th chapter. Then you'll understand what John 3:16 is being summarized as. And don't just read John 3:16. Read from 15 to 18. Then it'll make even more sense. They always say you're taking John 3:16 out of context. Why? Lack of discipline. Lack of faith.
Verse 10, Hebrews 4:10. For he that is entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own works, as the Most High did from his. Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
Woo! So there you go, man. You gotta work until you're taken out. You gotta keep working until the Most pulls you off the planet. Yeah, you gotta make it to the LZ, to the landing zone. You gotta make it there to get it to the extraction point, man. And your faith is what's gonna carry you there. You got the buddy system. Robin dude got shot. you gotta pick up that faith and march on, man. You know? Somebody get Robin.
I gotta carry.
I gotta carry my best friend.
This is back in Joshua, the 24th chapter, the tail end of verse 14. It says, well, I'll just read verse 14 again. It says, now therefore fear the Lord, and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
See? So there's always been that line in the sand, that distinction on who are you serving. Because when you serve the other gods, really you're serving your own belly. Because whenever disaster struck, those gods stayed put. Because they were statues. Get it? Statues don't move. You go downtown, anywhere, right? And you see the silver guy, or the gold lady, right?
That painted themselves.
Yeah, right. You see them, and people are putting money in their hat and shit. And you're like, oh, this is amazing. As soon as disaster strikes and some shooter or something happens, what's gonna happen? Those things are gonna move, right? They're gonna move because they're actual people. But the statues, Dagon and all these statues that were made, they never moved. They never ate the food. They found out that there was people coming in through back doors, trap doors, and they saw all this feast. They brought their whole family in to feast. They were living off of their altar. But they were living off the altar falsely. There was a false sense of belief and faith. See, the priests for Israel were supposed to live off of the altar. Okay? But Paul, even himself, he said, look, I'm not going, he wasn't enforcing that on people. So same thing with us. We're not enforcing that people, all these people come and pay us tights or something. Because we're not looking for, that would just prove how much the world loves us, man. We're not looking for the love of the world. And how should I say that? He'd keep us in here safe from them, from the world. Keep us safe while we're here in the world. See?
This is Sirach chapter 31, verse 1. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. Watching care will not let a man slumber, as a sore disease breaketh sleep. For rich have great labor in gathering riches together, and when he rested, he is filled with his delicacies. The poor laboreth and in his poor estate. I'm sorry, Salakia. The poor laboreth in his poor estate, and when he leaveth off, he is still needy. He that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof.
Yeah, you follow after corruption, you got your mind on your money on your mind. That's where you're gonna find yourself, in corruptible things. So this corruptible must put on incorruption. So here it is, we're in the flesh, we're corruptible. Our bodies can decay. Okay, but we gotta put on incorruption, we gotta put on immortality. And that immortality is not here. It's in spirit. See? It's in spirit. Everything, the scripture even says that our Father, The Most High Yahweh, he is a spirit, and he must be worshipped in spirit, man. So what temple will we build him? What physical things can we do to please him? Well, you make your body a living sacrifice. And how do you do that? By coming out on faith and being ridiculed of the people, following the footsteps of those that did it right. And the ones that did it right, the whole world said they did it wrong because they were all killed. They were all ridiculed. So that's one of the things you got to prepare yourself to do when you come out. You got to prepare yourself to be killed and ridiculed, crucified for Yahweh Shai's sake, made a fool for the foolishness of preaching. Pleases the Heavenly Father, man. Like how silly is it of us to come out here and talk and speak unto the wind and have weirdos say things to us, right? And it's like, man, it seems like nobody's listening. People they hear us, but they don't understand the urgency of the warning. You go to the coast, the Oregon coast, Washington coast, they have tsunami routes. They have tsunami evacuation sounds that play. When those sounds go off in Japan, when they have those tsunami warnings, you think people are standing around still playing volleyball and badminton? Hell no, man. They're running for the hills.
They jump to it.
Yeah, they're scared, right? Godzilla's coming, man. They're running. Hey, but our people now, they hear us. There's no sense of urgency. They're still looking to get that cigarette, that extra 50 cents to get that single malt liquor, you know?
Liquor.
That Thunderbird and Night Train, man. That MD and OJ. They're looking to get twisted. But they won't make the word their juice. They will make the word the speckled bird. That's like Israel, man. Woo.
Tuki. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 17. For Yahweh Shai sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom of words, lest the cross of Yahweh Shai should be made of none effect. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved, it is the power of the Heavenly Father.
But unto us which are saved, so that right there, some people be like, see, you're saved. Have you been saved? That's not what that's talking about. We've been saved from the corruption, the corruptible mindset of this world. We've been called to something, but that doesn't mean that we've made it. We have to continue for your crown. Because when you have that, when you carry that mentality, you think that you can do whatever you want. You start breaking the laws like they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm already saved.
Yeah, I'm good.
So I can eat the bacons, you know.
Yeah.
I can smack the catfishes,
The meats.
you know.
I can grub on them strips.
You can grab the shrimps,
Lobster.
get all the little scallions you want, you know.
Suck the oysters.
Right. So your mind gets polluted when you think too highly of yourself because you're not disciplined. You actually lose faith when you think that there's nothing else for you to learn or to grow, which is not the case. Because as we're seeking perfection, that means we're not going to be made perfect until we're literally made perfect. When that destruction comes, and a lot of people are afraid, man. So they won't admit it, they won't say it, but they got to keep on that front, that big guy front, that Yahana big guy front, that Chief Ephraim big guy front. And they neglect the heavier things of faith, man. The prophecies that are coming are also of faith, man. To speak on the mark of the beast, this RFID chip that is going to be implemented, and it is implemented more and more each quarter. There's new laws, legislations, and companies that are passing this RFID technology. It's coming. But you have Israelites that are taking a stand. They're squandering their time to not talk about things of importance. The prophecies that, hey, through faith we believe these are the prophecies that must come to pass in order for us to get out of here. We're looking so much for the kingdom that we're looking for the signs of all end times, man. We believe we are in those end times. That's another level of faith. But a lot of these other guys, they act like the bigger issues are, you know, having sex on the Sabbath. You know,
Slugging their wife in
not
the
using
butt.
hate speech. The Heavenly Father is full of hate. Who the hell created the concept of hate? You still got these Kemet guys who think they're doing something when they got all types of homosexuals running through their 102 news organization. That's gonna save black people? Get out of here, man. You got a lot of these guys talking, but really no edification. Go ahead, Kasai.
John 15 and 19. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
See? So whenever you're not getting enough hate, you gotta recalibrate yourself. Something's wrong. That Metal Gear Solid, get that alert over your head, you spotted. It's like shit. I'm not catching enough hate. What the hell am I doing wrong? I'm not catching enough hell. What am I doing wrong? Shit's going too well. What the fuck's going wrong? But you get guys that get into that zone like, oh, you see the Most High, he's just blessing me. He's blessing me. No, he just knows it's like Satan's fucking with you. See, Job, everything was taken away from Job and his faith continued on. It wasn't until afterward that he was rewarded. Some of these guys think that they went through their moment of Job and now they're in the green pasture of bliss. No, man. Those are boils and sores on you. All that good shit that you think you're experiencing, that's the disease that's upon your body, man. But you're rejoicing in it like it's a merit and a badge of honor. It's not, man. It's not. That's not the morality you were supposed to take up. The Most High is pushing you away because He's giving you the things that are feeding yourself. Speaking of feeding themselves, these guys that do videos, sit-down videos where they're eating on the camera. No respect for the word, man. You think the priests were up there grubbing, got their bowls and their cups just grubbing out of order of the ceremony? Those that were doing that ended up dying, man. Sleeping with the women, sleeping with all the women, not marrying them, just sleeping with them.
Micah 2 and 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sword destruction.
You see, this place is not your rest. Yeah, the boils, yeah. These guys, they have such a good time that they think they're in a good estate. The scriptures even say that. They think that they're in a good estate because no evil, no evil has come upon them, so they think themselves to be in good estate. You know, they have so much stuff. They're like, oh, I gotta build room, I gotta build more. You know, I gotta build bigger so I can have more stuff. And then what happens? You die the next day. And did your stuff go with you? No. That's why your treasures are supposed to be stored up in heaven. That's why the example that Yahweh Shai gave of that was given, Yahweh Shai met the young rich man. He said, I got a lot of stuff though, man. He said, well, get rid of it and you can follow me. Because what good is it if it's kept in your possession? You see, okay, here, who was it? I forget who it was. They brought up this example, but I think it was one of the explorers that came here. I want to say Columbus, but I could be wrong. But basically, he burned all of his ships. You went to the office and he was talking about that?
Yeah. Burned all his ships so that way they couldn't.
Who was the guy? Do you remember the guy?
I don't remember.
But he burned when they came to the land down in South America, whatever. They burned their ships. The reason why he burned the ships was because if they had an exit strategy, a way to go back, then the men wouldn't. Their minds and their hearts wouldn't be set to go forward. So with their ships burned, we're here. We got to go forward. We're gonna go and deal with whatever it is that we're gonna find, and then we'll build ships and leave. Was the mentality. Or we'll wait for other ships to come. So that rich young man, Yahushua told him, get rid of everything and you can follow me. Because if he had something, if he had a contingency plan, well, if this doesn't work out following the Lord, then I'll have something to go back to. So he never, so that shows that clearly in his mind,
Cortez.
there you go, Cortez. Cortez, that's the guy. He burned his ships. So that's what you're supposed to do. When you drop everything to follow Yahweh, you burn your bridges. You burn everything. So there's no going back. But a lot of these guys, they didn't burn their bridges. They didn't count it all but lost. That's all lost. Whatever. I need new stuff.
They all terrible motives.
Right. They wanted to give they knew they didn't have, basically they don't got faith.
Yeah.
You
They
didn't
wanted a
believe
backup plan.
Right. Having a backup plan is a lack of faith. Right?
This is from TravisRobertson.com. It says, burn the ships, a leadership lesson from Cortez. In 1519, Captain Hernan Cortez, landed in Veracruz to begin his great conquest. Upon arriving, he gave the order to his men to burn the ships. As I imagine it, someone then laughed and Cortez promptly thrust his sword into the man's chest. That's according to what the author would think.
He says,
would
as
have
I
did.
imagine.
As I imagine. It says, after which the rest proceeded to get hammered on rum by the glow of the blaze, almost like a bloodier version of the Pirates of the Caribbean with Cortez played by Johnny Depp. It says,
So that was all just what he thought. He could see something like that happening where everyone's just drinking the rum by the blaze of the fire, because what else are you going to do? It's burning.
I mean, that's pretty much the point. Like,
But that's, like I said, that's a leadership mentality or a tactic. So if we pull up the scripture where Yahweh told the young man, sell all his goods and follow us, well, what precedes what? Does that mentality not also flow into the time of when Moses led Israel out of Egypt? They didn't take nothing, but the people, they were giving them all their goods and their jewelry and stuff. Right?
this is from
So like, but even before that, what about Noah? Did Noah pack up his whole house and shit? No. You know, he didn't even pack up wine for the trip. If he did, he drank it all, because the first thing he did when he got off that boat was he planted a vineyard. So he was like, man, I'm planting this vineyard. I got these grapes growing, because as soon as I can get drunk, I'm getting hammered. Right?
this is from WeBurnTheShips.com. It says the story. Burn the Ship was born from an idea that originated in 1519.
No, it happened way before then, but see, Edom creates all the history.
It says that year, Hernan Cortez set sail to Veracruz, Mexico with his crew. Upon arrival, Cortez's men became weary and scared, with hopes of turning back home to their old life. As legend has it, Cortez had the men burn their ships, leaving no option but to press on. Their ability to retreat to their previous way of life was gone. Their safety net had been removed. The burning of those ships represented much more than a separation from old ways. The same fire that set the ships ablaze also allowed Cortez's men to complete their mission and be part of something greater than themselves. Manifest destiny. Burning our ships means there's nothing back to. There is no turning back to the old habits and ways. In this world, we wrestle with all kinds of different physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual battles to allow great change in our lives. We must find the root. This is some bullshit. All right, that's this is a bunch of Esau's fucking philosophies. This is him trying to be spiritual. They start freestyling some shit that they give you at a seminar on how to make money. Or
You go to the seminar and they give you this.
A blanket statement.
They give you a hard truth, and then they give you all this commentary to whirlwind you into their own bullshit. But look, man, that's not gonna profit nobody nothing at the end of the day. Okay, because this place is destined to be destroyed.
This is Luke 19 or 18 and 22. It says, "Now when Yahushua heard these things, he said unto him, Ye lackest thou one thing. Yet lackest thou one thing. Sell all that thou hast and distribute unto the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. And when he heard this, he was very sorrowful, for he was very rich. And when Yahushua saw that he was very sorrowful, he said, How hardly shall thou that have riches enter into the kingdom of Yahweh? For it is easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of Yahweh."
You see, so the rich man, he was gonna lose his safety net. So he wasn't thinking exactly how he wanted to be a disciple, a follower. It made him upset when he said that he had to sell everything. But it's like, if you want to follow me, you have no need for that shit anyway. So what are you sad about? Get rid of it. Because if you come and you follow me, you got all that stuff with you, then you're gonna always have that excuse. Well, I can go back to that and I have all this stuff. Don't waste my time. Don't waste your own time. If you want to come, get rid of all that shit and follow me straight away. But Yahweh already knew that was going to happen, and so he told him, he said, look, a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven, because you're not going to want to give your shit up. And I remember that one guy who was selling, and he had a whole bunch of money. I was like, bro, like, why don't you share, divvy it up, do something, help the brothers out? He was like, oh, so every time a brother comes into camp, we're all just going to put money back into it. I was like, damn, bro, for real?
You see his mindset?
His mindset right there just told me everything about him.
What is that?
No, because he was like, oh, so every time a new brother comes into camp, we're all just going to put our money back together type of thing. I was like, damn, okay, so this guy, he's not thinking on anything about right here, right now, because he's like, well, if I got to do it, then
everybody's got to do it.
Right. Yeah. So that's the type of mentality, that's the type of person he is to this day.
And if you really believe in the scriptures, it tells you that whatever you give, the Most High is going to return it sevenfold.
Right.
So, hey, that's the mentality you got to have. Give it, and then the Most High is going to give it back to you.
Yep. And the funny thing is, now that he's able, because, you know, his whole mentality is like, well, people are waking up off of my music. No, they're not. They're waking up off of faith. Okay, people are waking up off of faith. Your music isn't what's waking people up. This word is supposed to be waking people up. You're not even telling the word. You're talking about how you still have 2/3 problems in the truth. How are you a deacon with problems like a 2/3? Talking about babies, mamas, and courts and stuff.
What does he think tubular got anything to do with the truth? It's tubular. Yeah.
Fibonacci.
Yeah, but
tubular.
See, we know of guys like that. It's just examples. So that when you got new people that come in, or you see maybe something rousing up in another brother, you can call that out. Hey, bro, that's not right. That's not right. Yeah, you don't do that. Because the reality was that none of us had money. We gave everything up. We were all in that young man spirit where we just gave everything up. And it was like, you know, everyone's on shaky terms with their parents, living with their parents and shit, or their significant other. You know, so you're all on these rocky roads in the house, you know, trying to throw out all the bacon and shit, you know? Because we weren't disciplined.
Went from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
In a total different direction. And everybody's like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
What changed? What?
Yeah.
Overnight.
Everything changed, motherfucker. Throw this shit away. Get this shit out the house. No more of this. Let's cover your head up.
Man.
This is Acts chapter 2, verse 41. Then they that gladly received his word were baptized, and the same day there were added unto them about 3,000 souls. And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread, and in prayer. And fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. And all that believed were together and had all things common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men, as every man had need.
See, as every man had need. And it wasn't that brothers needed anything. The brothers were, at that time, brothers were talking about getting a food cart, or doing something that we could get our own business, to have our own job to do. And he had the ability to help make that happen. Because at that time, we were hella passionate about cooking.
Actually, we was all ready to do it, but he never followed through.
Yeah.
He flaked on it.
Right. And that was one of the precepts that that was in the spirit of the whole thing, man. So it's good that it didn't happen. Because if we honestly, the spirit knew we weren't ready for all the red tape and paperwork that would have fell behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Verse 46, and they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising the Most High and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved.
See? So there is that great awakening that's taking place. And that's why you have the camps all over the place. But still, our people are going to be even more willing in the day of our power. You're going to have even more Israelites waking up. And it's not because of some mixtape. It says the people will be willing in the day of thy power. It didn't say nothing about mixtape and music. Okay? So hey, the spirit is perfect. It guides us through to help us avoid a lot of bullshit, to sift out a lot of things, because the Most High is all about violence. Sifting is a violent thing. The judgment on the earth is a violent thing. The saving of the elect is a violent thing. The establishing of the kingdom is a violent thing. It says to dash them to pieces. Rule them with the rod of iron and dash them to pieces. Their children shall be dashed against the stones. The nation that would not serve thee shall perish. The establishing of the kingdom of heaven is a violent thing, man.
Right.
Those that will not obey.
It says thus with violence. The scriptures tell you thus with violence, man. And right now the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. So if you reap what you sow, how are we going to get the kingdom back? Through violence.
Daniel.
Does that mean we're going to be violent now? No, the violence doesn't come until the missiles come.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 18, and the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Yeah, to take something, that's forcibly. That's where you get the term rape. Which means to take, to seize, hold quickly against another's will, basically. Just to take quickly, just to snatch it away. So the rulership that the so-called white man has is going to be snatched away from him. He's not going to have the ability to rule no more. It's going to be taken away. And all those wicked of our people, they're going to be taken away with it, man. They're going to be wiped away, burnt, killed, destroyed. Yahweh Shai even said, and those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over, bring hither and slay them before me.
Mm-hmm.
That includes 2/3.
That's right.
They're not going to, that's not the Lord. That's not my Jesus. Just like these people say, that's not my president about Trump. They don't recognize him as their president. Well, hey, you're gonna have people that are gonna say that about Yahweh Shai. So guess what? Death off with their head, man.
Right. You done that? Oh, this is Jeremiah 51:20. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces the captain and his rulers.
Yeah, so that never happened. That hasn't taken place yet. That's a future prophecy in the kingdom of heaven.
Violence.
The violence is in the kingdom of heaven, man. A lot of these churches, these religions, they don't tell the truth. They're not telling the people exactly what was coming in the kingdom of heaven. It's all rainbows and cupcakes and buttercups, butterscotch. You know, it's all Werther's Originals. You know, Schmucker's grape jelly, scones and shit. Earthquake burgers, turkey legs. Look, man, the kingdom of heaven is going to be a violent place, man. We got to pay you back. Look, you always say, you know, black people rip people off and this and that, and, you know, Latinos are unfair, and, you know, they do shitty, shoddy work. I'm not the ambassador, but I apologize. Okay? I apologize, and the kingdom of heaven will pay you back. Okay? We're going to pay you back the way you served us. We'll make amends soon. In the future, we'll make amends. All the little fucking bullshit you talk at work and this and that. The way you get to act and be in public. Enjoy it. Lamentations 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. The cup shall also pass unto you, man. So while you have time and liberty and space, do everything you can. You know, build your cars, go to your fairs, have kids, marry, get divorced, remarry, divorce, get a girlfriend.
Marry a horse.
Yeah. Hey, do all that shit, man. Classify yourself as a trash can. I don't care what you do. I identify as a pine. All right, that's cool. Do all that shit. You're gonna get paid back in the kingdom. So what the brother read, that hasn't taken place yet. That violence that Israel as a nation is gonna put on the other nations, it has not happened yet.
Nope.
It's coming. That's what's coming.
Revelation 18:21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all.
So what city is that great city Babylon? Because Babylon at this time has already been destroyed. It's no longer in existence or in power. The timeline when John the Baptist is alive, Babylon's already been gone and done away with. This is the time of the Roman Empire. You know, the Romans came after the Babylonians. You know, a little fun fact there. Okay? So what is John talking about? The mystery of Babylon. The virgin daughter of Edom.
Great.
Who's the untouched power in the world, man? The so-called white man. He's established himself all over the globe. He calls himself the Australian, he's the New Zealander, he's the South African, he's the European. The original Vikings and Celts were black, by the way. A lot of historians and authors wrote about that, and they themselves of Europe knew that themselves, man. But the so-called white man, he's taken over everyone's identity. He's everybody now. He's Canadian, he's American. Hell, you got a lot of these so-called white people moving to Mexico now. Because the dollar stretches a little longer. They got timeshares and shit. They go 6 months on their timeshare, and then when someone else comes to visit, they just go get a little hotel or whatever. You know? Because they've been able to raise their kids and have businesses, and they sell their businesses. They sell all the cars they've had, the property that they have. They sell all of it. And they move over there. And they become citizens of new countries. I'm not saying that's wrong. Shit, I would do it if I were them. Why not? It's in their power. But it just proves the point. The so-called white man, he's free to go and do whatever he wants. Okay? This is the virgin daughter of Babylon, America. It's untouched.
And it actually proves who they are. Fugitives in vagabond. Aren't they always running from judgment?
Yeah. Yeah, why are they so eager to move and run all the time? No matter what house, piece of land they get.
Just like Trump's grandfather. Remember that? You see that? What a brother posted on the WhatsApp about Trump's grandfather?
No, I didn't see that. Oh, yeah. I gotta read it.
Or why you find that?
But I know. Oh, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, this is Matthew 10:34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I am come not to send peace, but a sword.
Right. What is the sword for? Is it for barbecuing and skewers and for chopping wood? Is he coming to heat up the planet with chopping wood? No. He's coming to kill people, man. So I said, those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over, bring hither and slay them before me.
So it says Big Pimpin'. Frederick Trump. It says Donald Trump's grandfather was a German immigrant to the U.S. He was a pimp and a drug dealer, making a fortune running brothels and opium dens. When police cracked down on his criminal rackets, he escaped to Germany, only to be deported as a draft dodger and tax fraud.
Yeah.
Same shit his son's doing.
Yeah, same. So yeah, it's the same shit he's doing.
Tax evasion.
Probably is. He is his grandfather.
Hopefully, I hope so.
It says he returned to the U.S. working as a barber in Queens. He invested his ill-gotten gains in real estate. This is the origin of the Trump fortune.
Didn't it say he escaped from the shit, and then he comes back and he didn't do no time for that
He
shit?
got deported.
Or they deported him back to
He was a
Germany?
Draft dodger
Okay.
and tax evasion or whatever.
Then he came back.
Well, yeah, because he got deported here.
Oh, he got deported back to here. But they didn't arrest him when he got deported back?
I mean, the story doesn't say if he did or did it. It doesn't mention that. So, I mean, if you do more research, you'll probably find out more of the story. It's like that stupid show, Peaky Blinders.
That shit cool, man.
Fuck Netflix, man. That's just disappointing. Anyway.
This is Isaiah 63:1. It says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come."
The year of my redeemed. So who is he coming to redeem? And that's a two-way conversation. That's like the prophet is speaking to Yahushua himself. Saying, who is this? And he's answering saying, shit, I'm the one. The year of my redeemed is come. That's what we're waiting for. Right now, you know, we've got the phrase coined the year of Karagma, but I hope it's the year of the redeemed. And if it's not this year, I hope next year is the year of the redeemed. I hope that I'm redeemed. I hope that these brothers are redeemed. That's the mindset you're supposed to have. And you're not going to be able to cultivate that mindset by being undisciplined. Discipline is a strong key to this thing, man. You know? And time again, the lack of discipline helps you to repeat mistakes. That's what it is, a lack of discipline. Like, I know you worked on stilts. Do you not have to discipline yourself in a certain center of gravity or a mindset or something that you had to discipline yourself into a process? And once you did, though, it was the greatest favor you did to yourself, because now you're able to now you build confidence. Now you know technique to get around corners quicker or this or that. You know how this little trick, but
You move. Yeah, you know how to move. Yeah.
It's a discipline.
Know how to catch yourself when you about to fall. You take a little cool little choppy steps. Oh shit. Yeah.
You gotta learn how to walk on carpet versus floor that's built up versus tile versus if they put down that sticky shit, the adhesive. Yeah, man.
Discipline. But discipline also comes with experience. As you're experiencing it, are you able to quiet your mind? You know, quell your thoughts and just hone in on what's actually happening. Quiet yourself and listen to what the things that are interacting towards you, what are they saying? Because that's what's telling you how you should move. The things around you, if you listen. And the greatest things that you have around you are your brothers. Are you listening? That's honing your discipline.
Nah.
time, man. That's it. Shalom.
Shalom.